against Kentucky in the tournament?
Well, I think for starters, it's you know, the Hoover Met and the SEC tournament's really become kind of a mini Omaha. I think it's the most competitive tournament there is in the country. So on one hand, it's a great reward for, I think, all the teams that are going to be there this week, but as well, I think a real challenge for all the teams that are coming in, you know, on Tuesday and Wednesday. So we're certainly excited to be part of that field, and we know, you know, going in with our first matchup with Kentucky, we're going to face A.J. Reed, who very well may be the player of the year in college baseball this year, both as a pitcher and as offensively as a hitter. So we know there's some real challenges starting, you know, with Kentucky on Tuesday.
You pitched Nick at the Alabama-Auburn game earlier in the season. Is he just kind of a freshman that has the mindset for kind of these big games?
Well, we think so. You know, he's been able to pitch in some big ones for us. Like I said, the Alabama-Auburn game, Montgomery as well. He pitched in Pensacola against Troy in front of a big crowd. So I don't really see the setting affecting him a whole lot. He's done a good job with that. Really, he's done much better as a starter. And I think this is going to put him a little more in a comfort zone. And much like Bramblett last week, he is making his first SEC start, you know, on Tuesday. So I think it's going to be a great spot for him, not only right now, but I think moving down the road just in his development and maturation, you know, as a pitcher in the SEC, because we envision him being a weekend starter for us next year.
What is it with him that you think makes him better as a starter? Is it being young and being able to get into a game?
I think so. I think he's always trained that way, and I think with a lot of young guys that come in, some guys are just very comfortable taking that ball, you know, from the first inning on and having your preparation leading up to that start, and then you throw them into the bullpen, and sometimes it just doesn't work quite as well. So, you know, you can look at his numbers as a starter versus as a reliever, and that kind of tells you, you know, where his comfort level is. And as I said, he's done a good job as a starter. That's where we see him, you know, moving down the road. And I think it's a great opportunity for him tomorrow to get the ball in front of a big crowd against a really good Kentucky team.
In terms of the matchup, I mean, I imagine, you know, it's not just you're throwing him in an SEC game; it's a tournament game against probably the player of the year.
Yeah, and I think that you know, as I'll relay to the team, I think that it really, we need a big response from our position players as well. I mean, we've got to be good on the offensive end. I mean, you know the matchup. You've got a junior national player of the year versus a freshman, you know, making his first SEC start. So that means a lot of players have to deliver in a big way for us tomorrow, particularly on the offensive end.
Do you handle it or approach it any differently, knowing that it's single elimination, win or go home in this first game?
Well, I mean, you know, I think you play every game to win, and I think with the situation we're going to be in is Nick, and then you try to put in your top bullpen guys when needed, and I do think for us to make a run in this tournament on the offensive end, we have to have some guys have big tournaments offensively to put runs on the board for us.
Where do you see, not talking particular days, but where do you see John Keller fitting into it? Would he stay in the pen? Would he potentially be a starter for you at some point this week?
I think right now we view him as a bullpen guy this weekend, and a lot of that is just on John and how he feels moving forward. We were encouraged, you know, after Friday night that he was able to pitch a good, clean inning. Felt pretty good about it. He felt really good yesterday, so we're encouraged in that way. We just don't know the length right now, and it's more about in between innings, you know, whether he gets tight or not. But pretty encouraged with him right now after the first outing back on Friday.
Burrows be fine after working 2 1/3 on Saturday?
Burrows will be available on Tuesday. Yes. And Wednesday.
And Thursday.